Hey guys, Tepco Cycle Repair. So this just got dropped off here. This is a 1996, I believe, DR650. This thing has been in a barn for probably the last 10 years. It only has 1,600 miles on it, so very low miles. This thing is, it's dirty, but you know, when you get these, you look into some of the problems they have, and rusted out tank, and this tank is rusted on the inside, but he brought a brand new tank with it. Overall, it looks in good shape besides it being dirty. I think this is going to be a good build, just a nice cleanup and a carb rebuild, replace the tank, and I think we'll be good to go. This is going to be fun. You know, you see these bikes, they haven't changed much in all the years that they've been out, so it's a very capable bike with a 650. It's electric starts and doesn't even have a kickstart. So let's get this thing started, guys. Looks good. Last time it rode, looks like a registration in 2005, and it's 2020 right now. So it's been sitting for about 10 years. I think it was run a little bit after it was registered. So 10, 12 years probably been sitting. Let's get it done. All right, guys, I'm going to get this all cleaned up. But before I do, this tank is so rusted that I'm going to go ahead and take it off, because I feel like if I hit it too hard with the hose, all this rust right here is just going to, it's leaking all over the cylinder. So it'll help me clean underneath there also. So I'm just going to take this, take the tank off. 2 10s here and the 2 seat bolts. One in the back, tank comes off after you pull a fuel line. Simple. Let me get that done. All right, guys, with a bike like this, even though it's pretty clean, it's been sitting for 10 years. We're going to 10, 12 years. I don't know, a long time. So we're going to take the battery out. We've got a new battery for it. Going to pull the air filter out. Going to put a new air filter, new oil filter, change the oil, check the valves, flush out the fluid in the front and rear for the brakes. Make sure all that stuff is good and safely working. Make sure the calipers work good. We're going to pull the carburetor off. Make sure all the rubber intake manifolds and the boot to the air box is good. We're going to open up the carburetor. Make sure the diaphragm on the top is good. Sometimes those dry out. We're going to see what parts we need. Get a parts list together of everything we got to order for it to get it back up and running. So you want to do that first, so you're not wasting time pulling something off, ordering parts. Parts get here, you pull something else off, got to order more parts. So I'll do all this, get a list of everything I need, and then we'll see what we got to purchase here to get it back going again. Huh. Not bad. All right, so going on this DR is a tank from service. Comes with everything we need to mount it up. New rubbers for mounting. Comes a new petcock here, new screws to put in. So we're going to pull it out, follow the directions, and make sure everything gets on and sealed good. And we should be golden on that. Guys, when you get these tanks, always blow them out. There's always debris in there from cutting stuff. I mean, there were pieces like this flying out of there. So, you know, make sure you blow them out and clean every bit of debris from the manufacturing process to get it all out of there, so you don't have any dirt and debris in your brand new tank. All right, guys, so changing the spark plugs out. These are the plug that it recommends is a CR10E, which are a little harder to find. A lot of people run the 9s, which they have in here. This is the CR9E, so I'm just going to stick 9s back in there. The 9's a little bit hotter, nothing real crazy. The torque for these is actually the 0.7 to 0.8 millimeters is the gap, and the torque is 8 foot-pounds or 96 inch-pounds. So if you're working on these things a lot, you get used to what the torque is for these. But if you haven't, get yourself an inch-pound. Anything like under 15 foot-pounds, 10 foot-pounds, I wouldn't use a regular torque wrench. I would use an inch-pound torque wrench. I think you just get better results out of that. All right, so we're going to get these in here. Put a little bit of anti-seize on the threads as well. Alright, plugs are done. Let's go do the oil filter. Alright, so here we have 3 8mm. Now you can use a tool getting them off, but these are very low torque, so I wouldn't go using a wrench like this to put them back on again. But taking it off is fine. Alright, so there's our spring. And then here's the O-ring right here. We'll take that off. And it fits into a groove inside of the cover, so you're able to just put it right back on the cover right there. So the filter right here. Alright, this uses a K&N 137 filter. So I have a new K&N right here. We're going to take a little bit of oil. It slides into here. I'm going to put a little bit more seal glide on it so it kind of glues it into place there. I mean, this is the stuff that I'm using. A little more generous with it and just get it really glued in. This time I'm going to push it on and hold it in place so it doesn't come back out at all and let that fall out. Now these things that you're changing, when you're doing oil filter, oil drain bolts, people tend to strip those out all the time. This is really important that you use some type of a torque wrench on this. If you're not used to how tight these should go, if this is your first oil change, please use a torque wrench. Be very gentle. You don't have to make these things super tight. There's an O-ring on there. Just make it snug, and if you're not sure about it, make it snug and just keep an eye on it. If it's leaking, you know, go get a torque wrench, go run by a shop somewhere and borrow one so they can torque it on for you. But just don't go jamming these things on. Let me grab the torque wrench and I'll give you the spec. Alright, I couldn't even find a spec for the torque on these, and I have the Suzuki service manual, so we're going to go with usually 4 to 6 foot-pounds on these. It's very, very low. I'm doing 4 on these. So this is, again, this is an inch-pound, so this is at 48 inch-pounds. That's it. They're not going to come loose. Alright guys, so the drain bolt, 16.5 foot-pounds. Use a torque wrench. Don't be the one that strips it, alright? Don't be that guy. Done. 16.5 is light. Don't go wrenching the thing on there. Good Lord, I fixed so many drain plugs lately. Please, people, please. UASA batteries don't come pre-filled. You got to fill them. Be careful. The stuff will make holes in your clothes. Just get it. Push it on. Alright, so make sure it's all empty. Gently pull it off. You can hear it's all sizzling away in there. This is the cap we pulled off the acid container. If you got a trickle charger, charge it up. Now, remember when you're buying these batteries, pay attention to what you're buying. Some of these batteries don't come with acid, and you have to get acid separately. So get one either fully charged up with acid already, or one of these UASAs that already have the acid container with it so you can fill it. Alright guys, so the next step on this DR650 while I'm waiting on the car parts is going to be flushing the brake fluid. One of the things that you need to do is when you're changing fluids is make sure you change them all. And this is one of the things that a lot of people overlook. And it's not really hard to do. So you got to take this 10mm off here to release the cap. And you see on the top it says .4, so we're going to be using .4. And what I like to do is take the cap off, clean everything out in there, use a Q-tip, get it all nice and clean, fill it again with .4, and then I'm going to use a pneumatic pump here, put it on the rear caliper, crack it loose. And you have to have a lot of air pressure for these to work, so make sure you're using a good compressor. If you have a compressor that doesn't put out a lot of power, it's going to have a hard time. It's not going to work right. So let me go ahead and set this up. So you want that all clean in there. All right, now with it all cleaned out, I'm going to go ahead and just refill it with fluid. And as long as you do it like this, all I did is stick a paper towel in there, absorb as much as I could, use a Q-tip to clean it out. When you put the new fluid in, that little bit of fluid that's sitting in that line there, and a little bit of air will just bubble out and it'll be fine. You can just move the jiggle this little the hose around a little bit and it'll loosen any air that's in there back up into the cup so you're not shooting the air back through the system. All right, see that nasty fluid down there? I'll squeeze the hose a little bit. Oh, it's focused. See it coming out of there? All right, so let me set it up. All right, so when you're doing this, I got it set up here. You want to pay attention to the fluid in the master so you don't suck it dry, so you can keep putting fluid in there. So I'm going to keep the fluid near by that side. All right, I'm going to crack this open. See the fluid coming out there. All right, so if you don't have one of these, the other way to do it is to just pump the rear pedal, crack it, close it, let it back up again. You can do that several times. Make sure the top doesn't run dry. Another way to do it is to run a hose into a cup that has fluid in it, so the end of the hose is in fluid, and then sit here and just move the pedal up and down with this open, and it'll just keep pushing it through, and you just keep filling it up. And now you can see I'm getting it out of there nice and clear. Doing one more. All right, looking good. So I'm going to top up the master, cap it, and do the same for the front. All right, top one's a little dirtier, so we're going to make sure we do a thorough job of cleaning that out in there. Okay, let's go put it back on. All right, guys, so the other way I'm talking about here, you can see this line is filled with fluid. If I keep this cracked open and I just work the brake lever, okay, watch what happens. Just keeps pushing it out. And then the last time I just squeeze it and lock it back. All right, and then my lever, stiff as a rock, just like it should be. Works perfect. Make sure you keep that full if you're doing it that way. But if you have a problem cylinder, you're having trouble bleeding it, it works really good that way. You should give that a shot. All right, putting the car back on. I'm going to take some Seal Glide in here just to help it slide in. Same on this side here. This choke now, it's plastic, so make sure you don't just go jamming it in there. Make sure that you got it in right before you start screwing it in. They always make these enrichers in kind of a tight spot so you can't really get a wrench on it. I guess they don't want it that tight anyway, so just snug that up and that's good. So make sure you got your cables, pull on them so you know which way is throttle. All right, so we know this is our throttle here, and then our throttle's going that way, so we're going to take this one here, put it on this side, this one here, 2 nuts. Remember, one goes on the bottom. These are brand new cables. So I'm just trying to get some slack in there. It's not quite snapping back. I'm gonna replace the tube up there as well. All right, let's get these clamps tightened back on. This bar is rusted, so I'm not sure we're going to get a smooth return on that throttle until he replaces those bars, but the owner's going to work on that. So let's get these, let's check the valves. All right, so the valves, we want to get the engine to top dead center on the compression stroke. So I took the side cap off here with an Allen. All right, and this is a 17mm bolt. You want to turn it counterclockwise, and you want to turn it until you're at the compression stroke and you have the marking in there where it says T. Right there, okay? Right in the middle of the hole, you got T for top dead center. And you'll know you're in there on the right stroke because you can reach up here. You should be able to move both the valves, the intake and the exhaust. Right, there's your exhaust, and then the intake. All right, so the intake spec here, this is a 1996. Intake is 0.08 to 0.13. All right, I got 10 on these. And then the exhaust side here, all right, these are going to be 0.17 to 0.22 millimeters, and I got 20 on this side. Now, I'm using a feeler gauge like this. It's kind of a long, thin one. I usually use my thin motorcycle ones here, but it's kind of weird in here to get them in. You have to get underneath, but I was able to get in there with those. So I got 10, and I got 10, and I got 20. So these are good. You're going to put the caps back on. All right, for that service tank, we're going to take this plastic guard off. 2 10mm on each side. I'm running ethanol-free 90 octane. Let's turn the gas on and see what we get here. See if you guys can see that. Ooh. Probably got to tighten that up. All right, so we got gas going to the carb. Let's snug up the drain. Now, I've never had one of these, never rode one, never started one. So, let's see what we got. Choke on, key. They got to pull a clutch in too here, so yeah, hang on. Runs great. That's what you get for putting new Mikuni parts in there, not garbage. I'm going to check the oil again because put new oil in it, make sure the level's good, and take it for a ride. Not bad. It runs great. Well, guys, it ran awesome. Runs really good, strong, no problems at all. It's pretty neat. Customer's going to love it. Sitting for 10 years, just looking for a good ride. Went through all the gears just fine, no problems at all. Guys, I hope you like this and shows these machines here are bulletproof. They are really something special here. If you find one sitting for a long time, do a little bit of work to it and get it going, and that's all it needs. Good bike. Hopefully, guys, you can find these. They're getting harder to find. But hope you like this video. Please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for further notification, guys. Until next time, find one of these DR650s and bring them back to life. It's TEPCO Cycle Repair.